Imagine opening a jar of peanut butter and realizing the danger didn't come from the peanuts. It came from the factory that supplied them to almost every snack you can think of. The largest food recall you've probably never heard about didn't start with a headline. It started with a quiet pattern of illnesses, spread across states, with no clear source. And when investigators finally traced it back to a single peanut processing plant, they uncovered something far more disturbing. Every safeguard in the system, the tests, the audits, the inspections, had failed at the exact same time. Here's how one ingredient triggered one of the most devastating recalls in modern American history, and why it changed food safety forever. It began with scattered reports of Salmonella infections across multiple states. Each case seemed isolated. Different foods, different brands, different people. No obvious connection. But epidemiologists started noticing a pattern. One by one, the illnesses were linked to peanut-containing foods, energy bars, cookies, crackers, school snacks. All different companies, all different manufacturers. The only common denominator was the ingredient behind the scenes, peanut paste from a single supplier. When investigators reached the facility, what they found shocked them. This wasn't a small contamination. It wasn't a one-time mistake. It was a breakdown that had been happening quietly, batch after batch, month after month. Inside, inspectors documented water leaks near production lines, dust accumulation, standing puddles, rodent evidence, structural damage, conditions that allowed bacteria to move, persist, and grow. But the most alarming discovery wasn't the environment, it was the paperwork. Records showed that some batches had tested positive for Salmonella and were then retested until a negative result appeared. The negative test was used. The product was shipped. The contamination moved into the food supply. And it didn't end there. The facility had passed third-party audits, high scores, approved supplier status, products flowing into major national brands. Yet those same plants that trusted the audits were now pulling millions of units off shelves. Crackers, cookies, energy bars, ice cream, snack mixes. Any product that contained the paste or roasted peanuts from that supplier was considered suspect. The recall spread like wildfire, not because the contamination was new, but because the ingredient had already been used in thousands of products long before anyone realized the risk. This is the dark side of commodity ingredients. One supplier can reach hundreds of brands. One ingredient can travel through dozens of factories. One blind spot can multiply into a national emergency. And when the FDA stepped in, what they uncovered forced the entire industry to rethink how food safety should work. At the time, regulations focused on reacting to contamination, not preventing it. Inspections were infrequent. Supplier verification was weak. Audits were often paid for by the company being audited, and food plants weren't legally required to implement preventive controls. The result was a perfect storm, a system built on trust but without the tools to verify it. The fallout was immense, a massive national recall, stores pulling products off shelves, factories halting production, millions of dollars lost, lives changed, families affected in ways that statistics never fully capture. But what happened next didn't just fix a plant, it rewired the system. The disaster became one of the driving forces behind sweeping food safety reforms. Preventive controls became mandatory. Supplier verification became non-negotiable. Companies were now required to prove their ingredients were safe, not assume they were. Facilities had to implement environmental monitoring, testing protocols, corrective action procedures, traceability improvements, and stronger oversight across the supply chain. In other words, the system that failed was rebuilt to prevent the same kind of failure from happening again. And yet, this story remains strangely forgotten. Maybe because it didn't involve a single brand. Maybe because it happened quietly in the background of familiar foods. Maybe because most people never learned that the ingredient behind their snacks almost brought the system to its knees. But the lesson remains clear. When a single supplier can touch thousands of products, safety isn't just a responsibility. It's a chain. Every link matters. Every protocol matters. Every decision matters. Zoom out for a moment. One factory, one ingredient, one pathogen. It was enough to reshape national policy. So the question now is simple. In a world where supply chains are even more connected than they were in 2009, could this happen again? What safeguards still need to evolve? What technologies can catch the next contamination before it spreads? And how do we ensure the trust we place in everyday food is never taken for granted? Because the story of this recall isn't just about what went wrong, it's about what we choose to learn before history repeats itself.